Hello my fellow adventurers, welcome back to Living the Grand Adventure. I'm Kevin, and today Alex and I have traveled to pretty much the most eastern backpacking trail in Ohio. We are over near the Archer's Fork area, and we're going to be doing roughly 28 miles over the next 4 to 5 days. We've allotted 4 nights, 5 days to do this, but we're hoping to be able to do it a day short of that. We'll see. The temperatures are supposed to be extremely hot. That's why I allocate an extra day. In fact, as we started in, it is 94 degrees already and very humid, about 85% humidity. So yeah, it's pretty warm, guys. And we are not actually on Archer's Fork right now because it is about a 4-hour drive. I did kind of develop the idea of doing a little bit longer hike, and what we've done, we've parked at what's called the Scenic River Trailhead. It's a trail that's actually just south of Archer's Fork. I'm stopping for a minute because I have an incline coming. But anyway, it's a trail that's just south of Archer's Fork. It's a series of trails. We're going to hike the eastern side of that particular trail loop and go up to a connector trail. It's the North Country Trail, I believe. We'll get all the signs for it as we go through, and I'll let you know the names of each trail. But we're going to hike, like I said, the eastern side of this trail, go to that connector trail, which does go up to Archer's Fork. We're either going to camp on that connector trail or just on the very beginning of Archer's Fork at that, because at the connection there, the intersection today. And then we're going to try to tackle Archer's Fork over the next 2 nights and come down into here and head home. So what we're going to do is go up basically a figure 8 with the connector in the middle. Eastern side of this, western side of Archer's Fork, eastern side of Archer's Fork, then the western side of this particular trail. And then we're going to head home after that. So like I said, we're hoping to do that in maximum 4 nights, 5 days. It's roughly 30 miles. So and I've got all trails running, so we'll definitely be able to tell you what the mileage is, guys. Supposedly this whole trail section, Archer's Fork in this area and everything, is supposed to be very well blazed, so kind of looking forward to that. So guys, we're going ahead and get this area over with. I know we looked at the sign at the trailhead. I didn't record down there because it's right against the road, very noisy. It's State Route 7, so it's very, very loud with cars. You probably can hear them in the background. But the trailhead did have a kiosk, and it showed that the initial mile is like 500 feet gain. And then after that, we'll get flat pretty much the rest of the day. We're hoping at least 6, if not 7, maybe 8 today, depending. But it is a little bit later because of the 4-hour drive. We made it up a substantial elevation gain. I think we still have a little bit more to go, but we have come across our first intersection. Spider web. So basically, this is the eastern side. It's called the Scenic River Trail, and that's the way we're heading north, going up this direction with yellow blazes. And our last day out, we'll be coming down the Greenwood Trail, which is the western side of this loop, and that's yellow blazes with a green dot. So we'll be coming that way and heading back down this elevation to the car. But we're heading out this way. The reason I chose this direction is because this trail over here is completely dry. There's not supposed to be any water. If we happen to see any, I'll let you know and what mile marker I see. But there's not supposed to be any water from here to the intersection with the trail that will go north to Archer's Fork. And there's supposed to be 2 creeks along that trail that we're going to get water at. That's one reason. Both our packs are actually probably as heavy as they're going to be. For one, we still have all our food, of course, but 2, we're carrying full amounts of water. I actually have 2.5 liters. Alex has 2 liters. And where this is a dry trail, we want to make sure we have enough water, especially with the heat. So of course we're paying the price with the packs being a little bit heavier as well. But we're going to get started and head up this direction. I know there's supposed to be some rock outcroppings we'll take a look at and things like that. and we'll get a good look at everything, guys. And like I said, if I happen to see water or as we come across campsites, I'll let you know mile marker and what they are. So we're about a mile into the hike now, and true to form, like they said on that kiosk, 1 mile, 578 feet elevation gain. It's a little intense. It's not so bad, except the heat and the humidity. It's really rolled in on us. My watch back here, it's hanging on my backpack because I have a Fitbit on my wrist. I carry the watch with the thermometer on my backpack. Alex looked at it and said it was 96 degrees. I looked at the weather. Right now the heat index in Marietta, which is only about 15 miles south from us, they said the heat index is over 100 with the humidity at 90%. So we do have a 50% chance of thunderstorms right now as of 2 o'clock, which it's 15 to 2 now. We are keeping our ear out to hear if we hear thunder or anything like that, where we may have to get our rain covers out or take shelter if it would look like it's going to come in a pretty severe thunderstorm. They are calling for thunderstorms all day and tonight. After this, according to the hourly weather in the area, we're not supposed to expect anything until about 9-10 tonight. So I'm hoping we won't see rain until at least we get a chance to get to site and get everything set up. If that's the case, we'll be in good shape. If we have to, we'll just crawl in the tent, cook underneath our vegetables with them open a little bit, and head to bed. I have actually been up since about 5:15. I woke up, had to go to the restroom, and was just kind of excited for the trip. Couldn't go back to sleep. I didn't go to bed till almost midnight. I did an oil change on our car, and I noticed I needed to rotate our tires, so I did those real quick. So I was a little bit later going to bed than I wanted to, but I figured I was going to be able to sleep till about 7 or so, still get about 7 hours sleep. I woke up at 5 o'clock, had to go to the restroom, and never made it back to sleep. I just got up, cooked some breakfast for everybody, and me and Alex headed out to the trail. This is a nice little area, guys. Kind of opened up on this ridge after we got up that elevation. We should be kind of flat for a little ways. We'll have a small descent, then another small ascent, and then we should be flat and then downhill till we get to that connector trail. I don't actually have that connector trail on all trails, so I'm not sure of the elevation. Kind of looking at it, it looks like we will initially start out a descent into a creek area, a small ascent, then another little descent back into another creek area, which is Caddy Run, I believe is what it's called, C-A-D-Y. And from there, it will be a slight ascent up to the connector point where we meet Archer's Fork. So, depending on what happens, we're either going to camp beside those creeks, which I haven't really made that decision. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the weather. Like I said, they're talking about possible flooding, and I really don't want to be beside a creek camped up and it flood the area. So we may grab water and nothing else, move up a little ways from the creek and try to establish a camp somewhere. Now, so far on this trail, we have not seen any camps whatsoever. You could probably make one back there. It would be kind of nice. It was open up. The trail has been kind of overgrown on both sides. So like I said, haven't seen a lot of areas to camp. Not that we would camp in this area. We're still like only a mile in, so that's kind of short. But on top of that, the only rock outcropping we saw was a small one. Now, in the fall or winter, you would have gotten a good view of the Ohio River out to the east. But everything's kind of overgrown right now, and we couldn't really see it, so I didn't really video much there. And like I said, we were at that particular point in time, we were actually on our way up that nice 575 ascent. So wanted to get through that with these packs on and get it done. And now that we're flat, it's a little bit easier to video and just kind of enjoy the trail. See, like right through here, you could probably definitely get some hammocks if you wanted to camp right off the trail. But nothing established, no fire rings, nothing like that. So we're going to keep our eye out for those and see what we can come across. And just continue along the trail here. Nice little area right through here. It's kind of opened up and pretty flat walking so far. We're going to try to make some good time through here and knock out some mileage so we can get over to our site. After the 4-hour drive, it was not fun doing that ascent immediately. Like I told Alex, I prefer a trail where I can get in and maybe hike easier, you know, maybe not so much an incline, but just kind of to break in the legs, you know. When you start out immediately with a 500-foot ascent, you don't even know what trail legs feel like when you get done with that. My legs actually don't feel too bad now. I think they're starting to come back. But, whew, in the heat, that was rough. If it wasn't for the heat, it wouldn't have been so bad. But, yeah, the heat. 100-degree temperatures, guys. Not always the best thing to do, go hiking at 100 degrees. Looks like we got a small ascent coming up right here. We're just over 2 miles in. And for it to being the Scenic River Trail, hasn't been too much scenic about it, guys. It's been mainly dense wood walking. We did happen across one of the natural gas pumps, whatever they are, down the way just a minute ago. And as we were coming right through this area, we've gotten a good draft, good smell of gas. And it's not very pleasant. It actually is very overwhelming. It actually smells almost like oil. Yeah. It's kind of tore up right there. I'm not sure if that's one of the lines or what that is. There is a structure right here. I would assume that's where the smell's coming from. It's right back behind all these bushes. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. In fact, guys, that is the most scenic thing we've seen on trail since we left the parking lot. This trail is not very pretty. I mean, it's just dense wood walking, which I don't mind. And like I said, you would in the fall get a really good view of the river back that direction. But since we've left that initial incline, there's been nothing to look at. It's just been straight up dense woods. Very secluded, very quiet. So, you know, heard some birds, seen a few of them, some chipmunks, a couple of squirrels, and that's about it. Good thing is the trail is really well marked and very established. So I'd say this is a very popular area, especially on the weekends. In fact, we've seen quite a few mountain bike tracks, even in some, you know, mud that is, you know, temporarily dried because it really hasn't rained a lot in the area lately. And you can tell that because actually some of the ground has actually been cracked, like, you know, in blocks. Basically the mud's cracked open, which I haven't seen that on trail in a long time, especially here in Ohio. Well, in fact, here's kind of an example of it. It kind of shows you what the area is, you know, what the state of the area is, how dry it is. So I'm hoping we come across a couple of these creeks and they're not dried out. We are about 2.5 miles in and been on trail about 1 hour and 30 minutes. A little bit slower pace, but that was that first mile climbing that huge hill. Since then, I mean, that took us like 50 minutes. So since then, in 45 minutes, we've covered almost 1.5 miles. So yeah, we're doing a lot better time now. And the rest of today should be very similar to this. We may have a couple of inclines on the other trail like I spoke of, but right now, it's not too bad. Alex is stressing the heat a little bit, and I'm feeling it too. I mean, there was one point back there when we got done with that last incline, I got really hot and was actually developing a small headache. So we took like 5 minutes just kind of standing around cooling off for a minute. A breeze come in for just a second and help cool us off. So I think about the 3 mile mark, we may actually take a 5-10 minute break, get a little water. If there's something we want to snack on, cool. If not, just definitely water and just sit down for a minute. try to bring our respiration rates down, our heart rates, and get the internal temperatures down a little bit, because it's very hot. I see the sun trying to peek through the trees, so if nothing happens, maybe we've missed that chance for rain right now, which would be really, really nice. Of course, I'll be honest, a small shower right now probably wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't want a thunderstorm, but a little shower just to cool us off I would not complain, especially if it was a cooler shower. But we'll see how that goes. And the trail is still really well maintained, well marked, well blazed. Kind of watching for snakes and things like that, especially through this little bit higher brush on the sides here, mainly because how dry it is. It's always a good idea to check for that. And now we've got, I believe this is at least our last incline on this hill. It goes up a little ways. It's not too bad, probably about 100 feet. Well, maybe 50 feet even. But we're going to knock that out, get up on this ridge walk for a little bit, and then we'll start descending back down. There's a sharp drop, it's flat, and then we should come across that division trail. But like I said, definitely well marked, guys. You're not going to lose your way here. I've barely checked all trails. The only time I've checked is just to see how far we are in and our elevation.
Sorry, he had a bug on him.
So guys, yeah, we were coming up the trail, come across this rock outcrop in here. It's got that tree growing right in the middle of it. It's kind of neat. Still doing our incline up to Archer's Fork, but I figured I'd show you guys this. It's really awesome. Kind of grew up in that right there. And have this right here too. We actually just took about a 15-minute break right over here. It's kind of interesting. We sat down, got some water, was just kind of relaxing for a minute, and we took 20 feet and looked over, and we could have actually had lunch right here. This is an established site. There's a fire ring. You could get hammocks back up in here, definitely, and probably a couple of smaller tents, kind of like what we have. And there's quite a bit of firewood laying there. If we were further into the trail, we would actually be stopping there tonight, guys. It's a nice site for what it is, you know. But that's at like roughly 3.2 miles. But consequently, we're on our way on, heading north. We have about 1.2 miles to the connector trail, and then we'll be going heading north to see if we can find us a creek, a water source for the night. And probably going to camp somewhere around that if we can find, especially if we can find an established site. And even if we can't, we'll just see if we can find us a nice little clearing where we can fit the tent and just kind of camp. We may not even do a fire tonight because we're really talking about going to bed early, like literally. I think the sun goes down at like 9:03. I'll check that time for you, but I'm pretty sure that's about when it is. It'll be dark by 9:30. We were discussing probably laying down about 10 and trying to be up pretty much with the sun at about 5:30 or so, eating and getting straight on trail and knocking out as many miles as possible tomorrow. Because if we could get on trail, that's another thing, Alex, if we could get on trail at 5:30, 6 o'clock, you know, well, say 6:30 because, you know, it'd take us an hour to eat and stuff. But basically, if we could get on trail then, we would beat a lot of that heat.
That's true.
So we can knock out like 6-8 miles before noon even, and then just coast the last 4 or 5 miles that we're talking about doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now I can't guarantee we're going to do 12 miles. Alex has never done that many. I think your most is what, 10?
My most is 11, which was
11.
accomplished about a year ago at Red River Gorge. I think it was the second day that
Yeah.
we did that.
Yeah.
Because we went to see
That's when we went and did Courthouse Rock, and then we went over and went down into what was it, Buck Run or Bear Run or whatever it was, that creek we camped back at the second night.
something like that.
So her longest, Alex's longest, is 11 miles. And of course I do have the, was it 13.7, 14.7.
14.
Yeah, it's right at 15 miles. That I did at Zaleski. I believe it was last October. That was the day I got run out of the site by the flies. Well, I got the people that come in with the guns and stuff, firing the guns and the liquor. And I was staying at Site 3. I had just completed the North Loop. So if you guys want to check out that video, put a link to it up here in the top.
Decent sized deer print.
Oh yeah, deer print right here. Alex kind of come across that. So we'll keep an eye out for deer. See if we can get some on video for you guys. I know there are bobcat, wild coyotes. There supposedly are bear up in here occasionally, so we're definitely going to hang a good bear bag tonight. Well, any night we're here. We're not playing games with that while we're here. And in fact, we kind of made a rule after we went to East Fork. We were talking about it. And my general rule trying to teach the kids has always been, hey, do it right. That way when you need to do it, you know how to do it. And I've been kind of lax, being lazy, being over in the western side of Ohio where, basically you're dealing with just mice. And, we're looking at going over into Pennsylvania and West Virginia and Tennessee. Number of places where there definitely are bear. And we kind of made a rule that from now on, as much as possible, of course, like if you go to Germantown, you just hang it at the little posts they have. But if we're out in the woods like this, we're going to try to take it serious and just start really doing things right. We do 99% of things right, but that's one thing I've been kind of lax on. And, I'm not going to do that anymore. Need to start taking things seriously and really, really knocking it out of the ballpark as far as doing this backpacking thing right, guys. Besides, I enjoy it too much to kind of crap on the idea of what you're supposed to do while you're out here. We definitely do the leave no trace, though. I mean, that's one thing we're really sticklers about. I bet you we haven't left a candy wrapper since we started this on the trail. I mean, I'm sure we've incidentally left something somewhere. Like at Zaleski, I lost a spoon, but as far as actually laziness, no, it's not something I would do. I actually get irritated when I go to campsites and people have left tin cans or pop cans or beer cans down in a campfire, and of course those aren't really going to burn up unless you have a really hot fire, and most people don't build them that hot. So, wow, a lot of roots and rocks right there, guys. Kind of trying to watch my step while I talk to you. But, most people aren't going to get a fire that hot. Even in the winter, most people aren't going to get them that hot to, melt down metals and such. So, I don't understand why people do that. And then they just leave it. They're like, oh, I don't feel like carrying it back out. It's kind of wrong. I mean, that's one reason we don't even carry canned food. I mean, one, I don't want to carry it back out, but two, it's so much heavier. Wow, this is a nice descent. Oh, it's a nice little rock face. That looks like a smiley face on that rock. I wonder if somebody went up there and did that. Cleared out that moss so it had a smiley face on it.
Maybe.
I can't imagine that being natural. I mean, I guess it's possible, but that looks like somebody went up there and just kind of made a pumpkin. And then the hair with the ferns on top. It's kind of funny. But I'm pretty sure somebody did that. Probably some point this year. Got a descent here. Should be coming, like I said, down to that trailhead where the divider trail is. And that's going to be kind of awesome because we're kind of hoping, as there was a picnic table at the trailhead where we parked. Like I said, I didn't record much there because it was very noisy. I may record a little bit when we leave. It's going to be kind of noisy, but just to show you what it looks like. But there is a picnic table there, and in fact, where we had such a long drive getting here, like I said, it took us 4 hours to drive here. We packed a couple of subs and ate those before we even got on trail. I drank a Gatorade. Alex had a kickstart on the way down, in the car. It's a Mountain Dew Kickstart. It's like a mini energy drink, has like 90 milligrams caffeine. I try not to do caffeine when I'm hiking. I may have a spot of coffee once I get to the site, but not on the trail, because my heart rate shoots up high enough as it is. But I had a sugar-free Gatorade on the way down, just to get the extra electrolytes in preparation for what we were getting ready to do. And then when we ate, we both had a bottle of water with our subs and just a little bit of chips. I had like a little handful. I'm trying to keep the carbs down, but that wasn't a very carb-free dinner lunch. But I'm pretty much carb-free the rest of the time. Any tortillas I have are oh, another campsite, guys. Check it out, right down there. That's a nice one too.
It looks like there's actually a small little trail.
Yeah, you take that trail down and around.
That actually is a really nice trail. It has like seats and everything.
Yeah, that's a nice little campsite down there.
Got some firewood too.
That would be big enough to put 3 or 4 tents and some hammocks and everything. This is at 3.5 miles, guys, coming counterclockwise. So I'm not going to walk down there because I don't want to walk back up the hill, since we're not going to be staying right here.
Yeah.
Because we've got probably another 2 miles before we hit where we're probably looking at maybe camping, or possibly 3 miles, depending on which stream we decide we want to stay at and what presents itself at those streams. But as I was saying, didn't have a super keto lunch, but my breakfast was keto. It was eggs and sausage crumble with some American cheese melted on it. It was really good. Had a big helping of that, like 4 eggs and probably basically 2 sausage patties. But, well, I divided 10 eggs between Alex, myself, and Jenny, because she actually had to go into work today, the first time in about a month. And I wanted her to have a really good meal. She had to go in and download some additional software on her work computer that they had updated. But she probably won't have to go back in for another month or 2 now. Another rock outcrop in here, guys. And this looks like this may... Actually, there is water right here. So this isn't completely dry, guys. 3.5 miles. It's not the greatest water, but if you're desperate, you could actually get some water right there. So it's kind of neat. And I'd say probably in the spring this is flowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had to go in and do that upgrade on her computer. So I just figured I'd fix breakfast for all of us since I was up. And that was good and keto. And then literally I have tacos one night, my walking tacos like I normally do, with just a little bit of Doritos, and everything else is keto. It's cheese and sauce. I have some keto spaghetti. I make it myself. And then the spaghetti is low carb noodles. I have a soup packet that's probably not super keto, but it's not bad either. It's a broccoli and cheese soup. And then spiderweb, sorry about that, guys. The last night, if we're here 4 nights, we made come up with a new idea. I saw a couple people kind of talking about a buffalo chicken dehydrated type idea that you put on tortillas. And I kind of come up with the idea. I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody makes it the same way. What I did, I took shredded chicken out of a can. Basically the canned chicken, and just shredded it up really good. Put some Frank's Red Hot and a Hidden Valley Ranch powder packet in it, and dehydrated it. And I'm pretty sure I actually got to look at it. It's pretty simple. I mean, you know, Jenny makes the ranch dip, the buffalo chicken ranch dip that we've had on trail before. So I kind of took a variation of that and got to look at it. Pretty much that's how everybody else is making it too. Some people use like the Sweet Bubble Ray's buffalo sauce. I chose Frank's because it dehydrates faster, because it doesn't have some of the additional carbohydrates and stuff. So, and it dehydrated literally in about 12 hours. And I did 2 cans, like half of a container of like the medium sized Frank's, and then the 1 packet of ranch. And that's my 4 dinners. Breakfast, of course, all 4 mornings will be low carb or low sugar oatmeal and
just taking a little bit of a breather.
And in my lunches, I have Spam 2 days with mustard that I'll put on the low-carb tortillas. Oh, and I did a pack of Chinese noodles and then low-carb noodles for another day. So it's not super keto the whole time, but for the most part, it's going to be lower in carbs. Taking a break here, guys. It's another little rock formation. I had this one over here. So we're actually starting to see some rock formations finally on the trail. There's a big one up here. Finally getting to see a few things.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going along the trail. We're about 5 miles in, and it came in a little bit of a rain shower, and we've been hearing thunder off and on, so we just went ahead and set up the tent. We're actually kind of on the trail, like literally the trail runs right there. But we were kind of afraid to get wet, and with the thunder coming in, we just kind of figured, just get in shelter. Like I said, we're about 5 miles in, which we were wanting to do about 5.5 miles, so we're not far off of what we wanted to do today. It's 5:15. We've got everything kind of set up somewhat. I mean, you know, when it's raining, you kind of just jump in the tent. I'm laying down because I got really hot setting up the tent. I got wet. My shirt's kind of damp, so I'm trying to let it dry a little bit. Still, yeah, I'm damp. I got a little wet in the rain, but it's all good. So I bring that extra towel. Alex is a little wet too. She's not too bad off. Decides she's going to probably watch an episode or two of a show she's got downloaded. And we're just going to kind of relax a little bit, probably get some dinner here in about an hour and a half, especially if it kind of stops raining, kind of get out of the tent, cool off a little bit more. The temperature actually, I think it's dropped a touch.
You can definitely feel like a small drop in temperature. It hasn't been a lot.
The humidity
is still very hot and humid.
It's the humidity more than anything. We haven't seen a single person today at all. It's been very quiet. In fact, I mean, we've only heard a car a couple of different times, and it was actually big semis. I haven't heard an actual car or a motorcycle. Not many animals, a lot of birds. That's about it. Of course, I figure once it starts cooling off, you may hear some more birds come out. But then it was a peaceful hike, just really hot. And then, of course, the rain came in on us. We actually had started up this direction. There's a hill you'll see tomorrow is the direction we're supposed to be going towards Archer's Fork. And the rain started coming in. We got our rain covers on our packs. And then it just really started coming in hard. And I looked at Alex. I said, really, we're almost where we wanted to be. We're right here at this creek. Let's go see if we can find somewhere to set up. It slacked off a little bit. And as we were setting up the tent, it started raining a little bit harder. And we finally got in here. Nothing really got wet. The tent so far is dry, so that's a plus. And yeah, like I said, we're just going to relax for the next hour, try to cool off a little bit, try to dry off a little bit. Yeah, here it comes again. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm using my phone right now to record this, so I don't know if you can hear it coming in.
Oh, well, you should be able to hear that.
Yeah.
That's loud.
I do have an extra mic I can actually hook to the phone that I'm planning on using on this trip, but we're really, like I said, this was kind of a race to just kind of jump in here and get dried off. But yeah, like I said, we're just going to relax, get some dinner. And we'll check back with you, especially if the rain starts coming in, we get a thunderstorm or whatever happens throughout the night. Right here is a small creek. We're going to attempt to get some water. Probably about 2 liters is all we need to filter for the night. It's about 7 o'clock, so that rain actually hung around for about a good hour. The trail's a little damp, but nothing major. The thunderstorm itself, I mean, literally, I don't even think we actually saw the thunderstorm. I think it kind of just blew over to the east of us, well, southeast, and just never really come in. Kind of a nice little area. It's definitely much cooler now than it was 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, it was still in the mid-90s. It is down to about 77 now, and the humidity isn't quite as high, I guess, where it did rain. So definitely much cooler, much nicer, and more comfortable to be out here. I got very, very hot during that hike, so it's gonna be nice to get some cool water, get some food. I'm really hungry. Well, it's about 20 after 8. Sun does go down at 9:02 tonight, and I'll be honest, we're pretty beat between the heat and the rush setup for our tent, which, like I said, we're literally, you know, on the trail almost. There's the trail runs right beside the tent. But with the rush setup that we had, well, yeah, we're a little beat. Got good and wet in that storm. Well, rain shower. It wasn't really a storm, but it was enough. But pretty little area. We've kind of enjoyed just kind of relaxing and just trying to cool off. The sky has lightened up. See a little bit of blue sky above us. But I know when I did have signal, which I don't have signal right now, we're expecting possible showers overnight, and that would be around the 11 o'clock hour, around the 2 and 3 o'clock hours. So we may still see a good thunderstorm tonight. I'm not sure. We'll see how that plays out. Overlook the fact that I don't have a shirt on. My shirt was soaked. I'm trying to let it dry. I do apologize. But yeah, it's soaked. I think between sweat and rain. I'm not sure which is worse. But yeah. It's been very similar to being at Red River Gorge as far as heat. And this little setup's kind of neat. I wish this creek was a little bit deeper. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt to filter some water, but we got it done. I'm hoping to get some better video for you guys tomorrow, but with the way that storm come in and how we had to do the rush setup, I wasn't able to get as much video as I like later in the day. Like I said, we're roughly, I think it's 4.9 miles, 5 miles ballpark. We actually... See, like when we get ready to leave, we're going to come out over here and go out this direction. That'll take us out. That'll be the last day we're going to be here. The trail that we're taking tomorrow actually goes right through there. If you notice, it's right over in here. It's like right over here, and it'll start up this incline out this direction. That's the trail, the divider trail that will take us out to Archer's Fork. I believe this was the first creek they had mentioned that you could hit, and then Caddy Run, C-A-D-Y, is actually out that direction about 2 miles. And we were really worried that if we got called out in a thunderstorm out in this direction that we wouldn't find shelter. And we didn't want to be putting up the tent in the middle of a thunderstorm. Rain's not so bad, but a thunderstorm, no, we really didn't want to be out in the open. So that's one of the reasons we just kind of come over in here. We kind of glanced around. Obviously, there's nowhere really right in here. And there is supposed to be a campsite right over in here or up in here somewhere, according to one of the maps. Well, actually, 2 of the maps I have. And I couldn't find it. And we were in a rush. It was starting to rain. I told Alex, I said, this is a decent spot. There's stinging nettle on both sides of the trail, so our doors are actually opened into stinging nettle. But we went ahead and just threw it up right here. With it being a Thursday, I wasn't worried about anybody coming in and being on trail. And hopefully we're up and packed up early enough if somebody would happen to come through, like say we're sitting here eating breakfast or whatever, the trail will be open for them. Tomorrow is Friday, so I really don't expect a lot of people to be coming in, especially this trail, Friday morning. I mean, you may have a few people wanting to come in and backpack over the weekend, but I'm expecting if we have anybody, like if we start seeing people, it'll be tomorrow afternoon and throughout Saturday and Sunday, day hikers and such like that. But, you know, we haven't seen anybody on trail or even heard anything remotely up in the woods. The birds were really quiet throughout the day. It was kind of eerie in spots, like when we first started the initial incline and we were coming up to where it got level. You know, it had that first 600 feet, roughly 575 feet over that first mile. The birds were extremely quiet and it was kind of eerie. You could hear them occasionally, just they let out a little tweet or something, you know, somebody would whistle, whatever. And you know, I got to thinking, I mean, it was even really quiet up until after the rain. And I think a lot of it had to do with the heat. I think they were kind of just roosted up because it was so hot, trying to stay cool. But now that it's cooled off a little bit, I don't know if you can hear them, but there's quite a few birds out in the distance. And it's actually nice to be able to hear some birds. Of course, I figure they'll start getting quiet as it starts getting dark. I know there's supposed to be owls up in here. We may hear some owls as it actually first gets dark, as it gets dusk. And then, you know, probably won't hear much else, hopefully. Maybe some coyotes later on, we'll see. I know that's a big thing around here that you do hear those. We do have our bear bag. It is literally 100 feet or more over there. It's 15 feet in the air, 3 feet away from the tree, guys. Other than the rain and the heat, it's been a pretty good trip so far. That was rough, especially setting up because it was still really hot and humid and we were in a rush, moving and getting rained on, and just the heat really, really bad. We both drank, I think I'm coming up on about 4 liters of water total with like combination of electrolytes. Alex is at about 3 liters or so. And I believe she's actually had more electrolytes than I have, so that's really good. So we're trying to stay rather hydrated. I'll be honest, like I said, I've been up since about 5 o'clock, 5:15. Alex has been up since about 6:15. I slept about 4.5 hours last night. I think she slept maybe 6. Yeah, it's not gonna be long. Honestly, it starts getting dark. I think I'm gonna crawl in the tent, and I have a couple of movies I downloaded, and I might put one on. I don't know. They're 2-hour-long movies. I probably won't even do that. I really don't see a point in it, because I'll probably be asleep by 10:30, 11 o'clock easily. And like I said, this is the first trip I've ever taken where I will spend at least one night without signal. I did attempt to send a message out to Jenny to let her know exactly where we're at, because I mean, literally, it's pretty easy. We're at the junction of Greenwood Trail and North Country Trail, so it's pretty easy. If something would happen, somebody had to find us. But I did send that and let her know that it got rained on, that the signal was spotty. She may have gotten it. It doesn't show that it's sent, but I did have like 3 bars of roaming when I tried to send it. I have done that on trail before, where she'll get the message, it just won't show that I sent it. Jenny and I have actually talked going forward, maybe down the road. Basically, I've got to save up a little bit of money, because it does cost something. It's getting like a Garmin InReach or something like that, where I can notify via satellite. Basically, as long as you've got GPS signal, which pretty much is everywhere nowadays, that you can send a signal home and say, I'm okay. And that would be really nice in this situation. I could at least, hit that button, send that text, whatever I need to do, depending on what device I got. And then she wouldn't worry, and I wouldn't worry that she doesn't know that we're okay, because I know she's sitting there thinking, well, I wish they text. Sorry, we're in an area where we can't. And honestly, what's so sad, about a quarter mile back, I did actually send her a text and say, yeah, we still got like a mile to go. And, yeah, we stopped here, so I had warned her that there might be a night or two where we didn't have cell signal and I wouldn't be able to talk to her. I said, I told her that, throughout the day I would probably have signal intermittently, so we'd still be able to keep in contact. But as far as actual, like, being able to talk on the phone or whatever, it might be kind of dicey there. So as far as dinner goes tonight, I kind of didn't really feel like cooking anything, so I skipped all my dinners. I literally actually just ate a couple pieces of cheese that I actually had saved up for a lunch one day. I went ahead and just ate those. I ate some of my beef jerky, about half of what I had. A couple of almonds, well, maybe a handful. And then I had a Kind bar. It was an Apple and Cinnamon's Kind bar. And I'm trying to think, there was like one other little thing I ate. I can't remember what it was now, but no, actually, I guess that is all I ate. I thought about eating one of the other breakfast bars, but I just kind of said, no, I'm good. I really wasn't hungry, and I think that has to do with the heat, because normally on trail, I don't get the hiker hunger that some people talk about, especially when they hike longer distances. I did at Red River Gorge, but I haven't done that in a while, and I definitely don't have it now. But I normally do eat my dinner, whatever, and try to stay really hydrated. Here, I've just wanted water, and not really cared so much for food. Because, the heat. I was actually nauseous when we first got set up. Alex was a little nauseous. She didn't cook a meal either. She basically ate some beef jerky. She had a pack of tuna she ate. I think she snacked on some of her trail mix, things like that. Basically kind of like what I did, and didn't get as many calorie intake as we probably wanted, but we did have those subs for lunch, so that kind of offsets it a little bit. I figured tomorrow when we get up, we do have our cold soaks for breakfast. We're both doing oatmeal. We'll probably eat those really good, and then I may eat another breakfast bar. And then probably for lunch, I'm going to kind of double down and eat a little bit extra for lunch. Because we are planning on a long day of hiking tomorrow. If nothing else, like I said, we're hoping to be up pretty much with the sun, which I think comes up about 6:20. So we're hoping to be up 6:30 at the latest. Maybe even before then, once the sun actually starts peeking out and it starts getting a little bit brighter out. Maybe at 6, so we'll see how that plays out. Of course, like I told Alex, I'm going to sleep as long as I want, because, the longer I sleep, the better I'll be on trail tomorrow. I just don't plan on sleeping until 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So as long as I can sleep really good tonight, be up about 6, we'll roll out of here. We're hoping to bang out a good 8, 10 miles tomorrow. Because like Alex said, you know, basically, because this is kind of her idea, and if she's able to do it, I'm like, okay, I'm all for it. You know, we get out early, one, we're ahead of the heat, so we can really knock out some miles in the morning, and then maybe slow down in the afternoon once it starts getting hot. And then once we're just kind of done, we're like, okay, we're done. But we, you know, as long as we hit that 8, 9 mile mark, we're good to make sure we can get out of here. Definitely in the 5 days, if not the 4. That's what we're really hoping to do, is actually do it in 3 nights, 4 days. And like I told her, I said that last day, if we get up and it's like 8, 9 in the morning, you know, we can hike till 7 at night and drive home in the dark. I don't care, as long as we're not hiking in the dark. So we're kind of trying to push it so we can get out of here a day earlier than what, you know, we are prepared for. Mainly because we just want to do the miles a little bit faster. But we did, like I said, I'll you know, allocate the extra day just for the heat. So guys, it's end of day 1. Kind of a hot day. Kind of ran into that rainstorm. It's been a little wet, but that's okay. You know, we made it through it. Looking forward to tomorrow. We're hoping to do a little bit more miles than we did today for sure. Otherwise, we may be here forever. Only got that 5 miles in today, so we're looking at maybe, I don't know, what, 7 tomorrow. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can even get more than that. But we're going to lay down and get some rest and sleep. And we'll see you in the morning on the trail, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, definitely go ahead and subscribe. It'll definitely help the channel out. Like, share, comment. If you have any questions, you know, I'll definitely get back to you as fast as possible. Always go ahead and check out my Instagram and Facebook. Have pictures and tons of information there for you guys. Give that a look and see what you think about that. And until tomorrow, guys, always remember to live your grand adventure to the fullest. We'll see you tomorrow on the trail.